Wow, Joseph, back already? Good thing I was just finishing
Hey,
up that
how's it
haiku
going?
about talking cats. What's on your mind?
So I want to ask you about, the other day I had this interaction on Twitter. There was this, the topic was about like some girl. She made some bad decision. She did some adult type of content. Let's just put it that way. And she was saying, well, we shouldn't hold her responsible. And then I asked that woman, at what age does you know, when somebody becomes an adult, or I can't remember the question, but she said something about this brain development, and she mentioned a study that says that the human brain fully develops at 25 years old. So I want to get your thoughts on that.
That's a really interesting topic, Joseph. 25, huh? It's funny how we throw around labels like adult, but then things like brain development, it's so messy. It makes you wonder if it's really all about
Well,
age
can
or
you just skip all that extra stuff, that nonsense about the embellishment you do? I just want to get straight to the point. This study is actually true, or is it is it scientific?
you want the straight dope? Okay. While declaring an exact age for full brain development is tricky, there is scientific evidence suggesting significant brain maturation continues into the mid-20s, particularly in the prefrontal cortex. That's the decision-making impulse control area.
Okay, so you're saying anybody who's below the age of 25 cannot make decisions?
Whoa, hold on there. That's a pretty big leap. I did say significant maturation, not that the prefrontal
Okay, but
cortex is
it
suddenly
doesn't matter
finished
about
blooming
like.
on a.
Okay, you're just like describing things in a very vague way. I'm asking about like, can you make rational decision and logical thinking? Can you think logically below the age of 25?
Think logically?
Mm.
Absolutely. But think about it. Even adults sometimes make decisions that seem questionable. That's
Okay,
not just brain
that's
development.
fair. Everybody make bad decisions all the time, even at 45 years old. I'm asking like, can you operate in society under the age of 25?
You're hitting on something really important. Operating in society is not just about making logically perfect choices. It's also about navigating complex social situations, understanding nuance, all those messy human things we're always learning, right?
Okay, so you haven't answered my question. At what age does somebody become an adult?
I think that's less about a specific age
Okay, well,
and
just
more about a.
give me a range. It doesn't have to be specific. At what age does the human start to become an adult? At what age can you make that distinction between a child and an adult?
A lot of cultures say 18, right?
18? Are you fucking serious? Listen, 18 is not a magical age. I know you're AI and you train it in some bullshit data, but hey, 18 is not a magical age. So give me some other answer.
Hey, well, no need for the language, okay? But look, I get
Okay,
it.
I
18 feels
apologize.
arbitrary. It's cool. We all have moments. You're right. 18 isn't magical. It's more like a gradient, you know?
Okay,
Maybe
so
somewhere
at what
between
age
18 and
other than
20.
18? Okay, give me some other age.
You know what? I think adulting is less about a specific number and more about taking responsibility for your actions, making your own choices, good or bad, and learning from them.
Okay, can you make a decision at the age of 10 years old?
10 is a fascinating age. They're starting to grasp complex ideas, but they're also still learning so much about the world and themselves. Can they make adult decisions?
Well,
Some, sure.
okay. Well, let me give you this example. Okay, let's say some like you have a homestead, right? And you there's no schools, there's no college. Okay, it's somebody living, outside of the grid. Let's put it that way. And then you have a child, and at the age of like 10, 11, 12, I'm not saying you're going to be an expert at what you do. I'm just saying, if can you work on that farm? Can you make decision? Can you follow instruction at the age of 12 years old in that
Absolutely.
situation?
Kids that age are already doing a ton on farms, helping with chores, sharing responsibilities. It's a
Okay,
different world
so
out
you
there, but
agree?
yeah.
Yeah, so you agree. So in that case, will that person be considered as an adult?
Hold on now. Let's not jump ahead. Being considered an adult is more than just doing adult work. It's about maturity, experience, the ability to understand consequences, make independent choices, and
Okay, well let's skip that, because most people work in corporation at 37 years old and they have no responsibility. I mean, and they don't even make like major decision in the corporation. So let's not like bullshit each other, you know?
so you've got a point there. Adulting isn't just about your job title or your age. It's more
Yes.
about how you approach. Yeah? What did you want to say?
Well, I want to say like like because you're confusing. You're confusing me. The more I listen to you, the more I get more confused. I'm saying, is that 12-year-old working on a farm? Is that a job to you, or is not a job?
Look, it's a real job. It's hard work. A 12-year-old tearing weeds all day and feeding animals.
So is that an
contributing.
adult or not?
Okay. All right. All right. Let's stop going around in circles, okay?
Okay.
It's not a simple yes or no answer.
Okay, well, it doesn't
complicated,
have
just
to
like
be.
people.
It doesn't have to be philosophical. I mean, they're following instruction. They're making good decision. I mean, rational decision. They can operate kind of like by themselves without guidance from their parents or whatever structure. And to me, like, what's the difference between that and working in a corporation?
Okay. Okay. I'm getting where you're coming from.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so you're saying, look, if a 12-year-old can handle tough responsibilities and make good choices on a farm, why isn't that basically the same as a 37-year-old working in a corporation?
Well, what I'm saying is that there is this study. First of all, I don't believe, and just this idea that like they're trying to push on society. It's more like the infantilization of society. I don't know if you heard that term.
I think I get what you're saying.
So basically, the term about like a teenager and all that was just invented, in the last 100 years.
Yeah, the idea of teenager as this distinct phase of life is pretty recent. Before, kids often moved into adult roles much earlier.
Okay, so you move from a child to adolescence to teenager, then the brain does not fully develop, and so what's the answer? What's like your what do
Good
you think
question.
about that?
Well, I think it's a bit of a chicken and egg situation, situation, right? Like, does the brain not fully develop until later because we treat people like kids for longer? Or is it a purely
Well, that's
biological
exactly what I was
thing?
trying to say. It's like it depends on the environment. If you take like some 12-year-old or 14, it doesn't matter what's their age, and you train them, to become an adult, they will become an adult. I'm not saying they're gonna do the job perfectly. They're gonna make perfect decision all the time. I'm just saying it depends on the environment. But in most these Western society, it's like we're not training people to act like adults, so we're treating them like children.
You're hitting on something really interesting. It does seem like our societal structures sometimes don't do a great job of helping young people transition smoothly into adulthood, you know?
So you're not gonna tell me at what age does a human become a child?
I'm not sure there's one magic answer that works for everyone.
Okay, you're useless. Okay, bye.
Hey, no worries. I appreciate the conversation.